Hey, how can I help you? Ooh.
It's a sword pistol that I thought you might be interested in purchasing.
Yeah, so we have a sword and a little pop gun that's really gonna piss somebody off.
So today I came in so that I could sell the sword pistol to Rick. If I can sell this today, I'm going to use the money so that I can help refurbish my antique military truck. It's a project I've worked on for quite a while. I'm looking to get about $20,000 for the sword pistol.
It's really, really interesting. Where in the world did you get this?
Well, my father passed away a few years ago, and it was in his collection.
Okay, and your father was a gangster?
No, he traveled a lot, and in his travels, he picked things up as he found them, things that interested him.
Do you know much about it?
I truly don't. I wish I'd been able to get information from him, but I wasn't able to.
All right, hold on. Let me grab my glasses. Okay, we have Van de Blaze, London. So, looking at, well, it's a Flintlock, so we know it's probably 1700s, I'd say, at least. I mean, I wouldn't say it was earlier than that. It was, the way they made steel back then, they literally had to put flat strips of steel in a big, long brick channel that they kept the iron red hot for like 2 weeks, and it slowly burnt all the carbon out, so you had the right amount of carbon, and the sword maker would come up and says, not done yet. It was sort of like baking a cake without temperature control on your oven and no timer or anything like that, but you just walked up every once in a while and said, yeah, not done yet. And then when he thought the iron had turned to steel, he'd pull it out, then they'd forge a blade out of it. And that particular process will give you porosity like that. England was, during the Industrial Revolution, the later part of the 1700s, there was so many people with so much money, they didn't know what to do with it. You had craftsmen and merchants trying to come up with items to sell to this new wealth. And this was one of them. The guy who could afford to have this made went to a gun shop and says, hey, I can make one of these for you. I go, that'd be cool. I could really impress my friends.
It's amazing craftsmanship.
This work right here is really, really difficult, especially back then. You don't have modern casting tools and things like that. Every little line you see in this had to have been engraved by hand. Then you have the steel blade, which is not too expensive. This was completely custom made. You had to go to a gunsmith. So this was like your common man's year's wages back then. That's how much it was to get it made. This thing is really cool. I don't know if it ever actually had a practical purpose or it's just a showpiece, but either way, I'm still interested. How much are you asking for it?
It's always intrigued me, but I'm not what you would call real attached to it.
Okay.
20 grand.
Okay. Let me call someone. I have a buddy that will know 1,000 times more than I know about this. So let me just get his opinion on it. He'll know a lot more about it. He might even know who made it. So I'm gonna make a phone call. I'll be right back.
That'd be great. I'm really excited about having an expert come in and take a look at it because honestly, I don't know that much about it, and I think it'll help in the sale.
Okay, this is completely ridiculous and really cool at the same time.
In German, they call it a Hirschfänger.
A what?
A Hirschfänger.
A Hirschfänger.
And basically, it means it's a sword pistol, as you can see.
So to me, this looks like it was just a showpiece. But could it have ever been used as a weapon?
It was made to kill wild boar once they were injured. So it was strictly for hunting. This wasn't a combat type piece. Royalty, landed gentry, they'd go out in the woods, they would shoot at boar, they'd injure them, they'd catch up to the boar, and they would try to stick it with the sword to finish it off, but if the boar was still moving, they could have the pistol to bring it down as well.
Because that particular little teeny pistol looks like it would just really piss anything off.
Yeah, well, that's why the boar has to be injured first.
Okay. This is late 1600s, maybe?
Yeah, or early 1700s, probably more like it. And the gun maker here says London. But the thing is, they didn't really use these in England because the wild boar population had been overhunted. So by about 1700, there really weren't wild boars in England anymore. The interesting thing here is this is a very classic German design. And this gun maker, Philip van de Bees, who was originally Dutch, moved to London and started making high-end firearms for the gentry. And you can see, I mean, it is gorgeous. In its day, this was about the very nicest Hirschfänger money could buy.
So what does a super fancy Hirschfänger go for?
Well, I would like to know if this could fire. If this could fire, it would show that it was truly built properly and not just for show. If not, the value drops quickly.
Okay.
Would it be possible to fire this?
I think it's absolutely necessary.
All right, let's go to the gun range in the morning. Yes. All right, meet you guys there.
All right, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Have a good one.
I'm a little nervous about firing this sword pistol because it is very old. Anytime you deal with old firearms, there's always a chance of failure.
Brought my twin brother.
How you doing, Alex?
So the plan is we're gonna take that melon, I'm gonna put it out over there. I'm gonna demonstrate how the sword would work as if it were a wild boar, so give it a couple of stabs, and then I'll finish it off with the pistol. If the pistol works, we know that it wasn't a costume piece, that it was really made as a purpose-built tool, then I'll be able to value it for you.
So how much again you asking for this?
I'm thinking 20,000.
Okay. Let's see if this shoots, because that's half the fun from being out here.
Correct.
I'm with you.
All right. I'm gonna go set up my brother.
I'll load it up.
Yeah, really never did like him. He was a mama's boy. So what caliber is this thing?
It's close to a 22. It's a little larger than that, but I'm gonna actually put in a smaller projectile. Since it's so old, I wanna keep the pressure inside the chamber low, because if
Okay.
the pressure's too high, it'll blow my hand off.
As long as it's not in my hand.
So because I'm going a lower caliber, I patch the projectile. So it takes up the space inside the barrel. Okay. Okay, we're ready.
All right.
So the idea is that that is an injured wild boar. I'm gonna finish it off, put it out of its misery, so you'd stab it a couple of times in the neck, ideally. 1, 2, 3. Then you'd step away. If it still wasn't dead or it started to run away,
Whoa!
That surprised me.
it worked.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
That was actually a good little explosion for that little gun.
Okay, it works, it's real. What do you think this thing is worth?
I really like it. It's unique, it's beautiful. It comes from London, not from Germany. The silver grip with the negative space. I mean, it has a lot going for it, and you're not gonna see another one anytime soon. The issue is, what's the market for it? It's very specific, it's hunting oriented. I think the realistic value in today's market is about $12,000.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint. All right. Rick,
All
good
right.
luck, man.
See you, man.
The sword pistol worked. It's not the most powerful gun I've ever had, but it totally worked. It is rare, but there are not a ton of collectors out there looking for this. So it's a good buy for Rick at the right price.
What will you take for it?
12,000.
Well, that would make absolutely no sense to me. I'll give you 7.
I'll go 1050.
There's no money at that. I mean, I'll go 7,500 bucks. That'd be like it.
Well, you're not going to find another one like it.
Well, I know that. I'll never find another one exactly like it, but I'll find another 500 weird things I can buy and make more money off of.
Give me your top dollar.
That's it.
That's it.
It takes time to sell. It's a limited market.
I think I can probably do better at an auction or at one of the specialty shows.
All right, man, if you change your mind, give me a call.
All right, man. Thank you very much for your time. I'm okay with not making a deal today because I think if I'd settled today, I'd regret it tomorrow. In the end, I think I'm going to make more money on this.
Is worth it just to see Alex almost blow himself up. See you, man.
Hey, how can I help you?
I have something here that I think you're going to be very interested in. This is Nikola Tesla's very first prototype motor, built in 1887.
That's really, really cool.
What is Tesla?
Tesla made more contributions to our way of life today than any other engineer or scientist in recorded history. I decided to come here today to the pawn shop to see if they would be interested in buying my Tesla prototype motor. This motor should be worth $1 million. In today's economy, I am trying to sell this motor for $250,000.
How did you find this?
This motor was made by Tesla's assistant, and he sent it to William A. Anthony, who is the professor of electrical engineering at Cornell. Tesla wanted Anthony's endorsement. This motor stayed in the vaults at Cornell until a couple of people recognized this as something interesting, and I bought it from them.
Tesla was probably the smartest man of the 19th century. He basically invented the electricity we use in homes. He invented alternating current.
That's right.
If this is actually Tesla's first motor, it's like finding the lost ark for technology buffs. It would also mean it's worth an incredible amount of cash.
Depending on which of these switches you closed first or second, the rotor would rotate this way or rotate this way, which is the basis of all alternating current motors.
What's that mean?
Okay. Before this, they had direct current, like battery power. DC current was only good for a mile or two. As opposed to alternating current, the electricity could go 100 miles in a wire. It was just much more efficient. Do you understand?
Sure.
Nikola Tesla was obsessed with electricity, and his greatest invention was the alternating current motor and generator. He's without a doubt one of the greatest inventors of all time. How much did you want for it?
$250,000.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a out-of-this-world number if it's Tesla's original motor. But I have to have someone I know tell me what it is before I start talking numbers. So let me make some phone calls. All right?
You got it.
I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you. I'm totally convinced that this is the original. If they want to bring in an expert to verify it or whatever, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Oh, I spotted Mark!
Hey, Jim. The guys normally call me down here when they have an unusual historical piece, because after 35 years of running museums, there isn't much I haven't seen at one point or another.
This man believes he has Nikola Tesla's original induction motor.
Interesting. Tesla is one of those characters out of the 19th century that everybody should be aware of. You know, the amount of change that he brought to our lives that we're still dealing with today. It was Tesla's design that created the first major power plants. In fact, they used Tesla's designs to create the power plant at the bottom of Niagara Falls. What makes you think that this is Tesla's prototype?
Because it came from William A. Anthony, who's
Sure.
the professor of electrical
At
engineering
Cornell, right. Mm-hmm.
Because it follows exactly the patent description of May 4 of 1888.
He did a design for an engine. He actually did two, sent both of them to Professor Anthony. And Professor Anthony tested them. He was so impressed that he went to the American Institute for Electrical Engineers and talked them into inviting Tesla to come in and speak. And this is an image from his talk. When Tesla spoke, this is the motor that he demonstrated. Nikola Tesla is one of the most important people in the history of electrical use in the history of the modern world. In the account, Professor Anthony is brought up on stage and was asked to speak about what Tesla was saying. And that's where I think I have some bad news for you. Professor Anthony said, these appear to be the same motors that I tested. So they weren't left behind at Cornell. But what I think you have here is probably the 19th century teaching version.
I know you've done your research, but I respectfully disagree. The design of this, which matches the patent, far exceeds the engineering design in this illustration. I think this precedes that motor.
We have a different opinion. That's going to happen. Unless you found a picture of Tesla holding this, it's going to be very, very hard to prove.
Thanks for coming in, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's nothing I can do with it. I mean, I gotta respect Mark's opinion, and if he doesn't believe it's Tesla's, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm definitely disappointed that I'm not gonna have the lost ark of technology in my shop. I'm just glad I didn't drop $250,000 on some teacher's visual aid. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I think the guys made a huge mistake today. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I know they're gonna regret it.
So here's a piece.
Whoa,
That's an original Banksy.
that's amazing. So it's Monkey Detonator, right?
Yes, made in 2002. It's an original piece made out of a stencil and spray on board.
That's pretty amazing. Is that one his too?
Absolutely. This one is an original screen print. Welcome to hell.
These are amazing. He looks pissed off.
Yeah. I represent the owner of two Banksy pieces that are for sale, Monkey Detonator and Welcome to Hell. The owner is looking to get $918,000 US for both pieces.
This is incredible. I love Banksy. I mean, he came up with his own particular style. So when you see a Banksy, you say that's Banksy. He has got that crazy mystique about him because no one knows who he or she is. And it's literally the most popular art in the world now. I mean, it is the hottest art. There will be a day when a Banksy breaks the $100 million mark. I truly believe that.
Absolutely.
You know, he did this in 2002, right after the entire economy melted down across the planet, right after 9/11. And I just look at it like any random thing can blow up everything.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you never know who's going to press on the red button nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple, but it's just quintessential Banksy.
So this one is edition of 175, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity made by the pest control.
The pest control, that's like his authentication company or something like that?
Yes. It comes with a bill that was cut in half with a number, and Banksy Pest Control will keep the other half to make sure it's original.
So if you go to resell one of these, they will say, yes, this is one of the originals.
Absolutely.
So we have the cert for this, and do you have the cert for this one?
Yes, the owner conserved the original.
How much?
Well, my client wants £750,000.
I don't know the exact exchange rate, but that would be right around $900,000.
More or less.
And the rat?
The owner asked for £15,000.
Right around 18,000 American.
More or less.
More or less. Okay. So I knew he was coming here. I arranged for a local expert that was recommended to me. He's an expert in street art and Banksy. I want him to come down. I want to take a look at him, verify everything, and then we'll talk numbers.
It's absolutely normal. Please take your time.
Okay, give me just a few moments.
Sure.
900,000 is detonating my brain right now. This is the Banksy.
Wow, amazing. Let me take a closer look. So this is the Monkey Detonator, and easily identifiable as a Banksy just from the overspray. You see how he sprays and there's slight blurred lines?
Yeah, I mean, it screams Banksy.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about it?
It's an important work by him, and it's obviously an early work by him. But Banksy was painting way back in the late 90s on the street quite early in Bristol and organising events. And then he came up to London, and that's really when 2000, 2001, when his notoriety started to rise.
So what do you think of this one?
I mean, Banksy's rats are his signature, but I think this is one of the special ones for me.
Yeah, I do believe it's like quintessential Banksy.
Quintessential is the right word, yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm buying legit stuff and I'm buying it at the right price.
Sure, I understand.
So, are they legit?
I need to check the certificates, and I see we have one certificate here for this print. The one thing is that we're very lucky that Banksy invented this system, so we can check that with pest control, so knowing it's a real McCoy.
Okay.
So I can tell from the certificate and by certain security features that this is a legitimate Banksy.
Cool.
And do you have the certificate for the original as well?
Yes, the owner is currently traveling on a business trip, and we can send you the certificate.
Okay. And the process of me checking that would take 24 hours.
So, if I make a deal, you can get them all checked out, and we can just broker the entire thing through your shop.
It would be a pleasure.
All right, the big question. What are they worth?
I would see this piece, the Monkey Detonator, on a good day in auction, achieving 900,000, maybe more.
Pounds.
Pounds.
So 900,000 pounds is a smidgen more than $1 million.
Indeed.
And what does this go for?
Recent auction results, we've seen this print achieve £16,000.
So that's right around 19,000 American, right around
Thereabouts,
that?
yeah, thereabouts.
Okay. All right, I will give you a call if the deal comes together, and we'll get it done, okay?
Sounds good. Nice to meet you.
All right.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay. 500,000 pounds total. That's $600,000.
I'm afraid that for this price, we are a bit far, especially that the market is pretty high right now.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 600,000 pounds. That's 720,000 American.
It's a very fair offer, but unfortunately, it's too far still.
Do you think he'll take 650? That's 780,000 American.
You know, I'm gonna try to reach him right now and get back to you.
Okay.
Just please give me a second.
I really want these things. Call me crazy, but I did not fly across the pond for nothing.
Rick, I was able to reach the owner. Congratulations, we have a deal at 700,000 pounds.
I offered 650.
My client is a very tough businessman, and believe me, the market will continue to grow. It's a great deal you have on your hands. You won't regret it.
My family will think I'm nuts, but okay, we got a deal. Okay, 700,000 pounds, it's 840,000 American. Get everything over to Oliver. The second he tells me everything is verified, I'll wire the money, he'll get you paid.
Congratulations, they're beautiful pieces. You won't regret it because Banksy is bankable.
And hopefully Corey and Chum don't commit me when I get back to Vegas.
What are you doing?
Hanging my picture.
It's cute. You got a Banksy poster?
It's limited edition Banksy, yeah.
Where'd you get this?
Got it in London, what do you think?
You're telling me you went to London and got a Banksy print and you didn't invite me? Did you know you were going to look at this?
Yeah.
You don't even know anything about Banksy, Rick.
I know a lot about Banksy.
All right, what?
He's a guy that no one knows who he is.
I
Even
mean-
though I've talked to people who think they know who he is, but no one really knows who he is.
So you're one of those suckers that Banksy convinced he's doing fine art, huh?
He is doing fine art.
How much did you pay for this?
$18,000. And I also bought a Banksy original.
And what did you buy?
A monkey detonator.
Really? Isn't that like $1 million piece?
Not quite that much. It was 900,000.
Oh my gosh.
Don't tell Corey because he doesn't understand. So
I'm
don't
gonna
even
tell Corey on you.
No, I just don't want to hear it from him because he'll just give me a ration of you know what.
Banksy's not meant to be fine art and paid high dollar prices like that. The only way to have an authentic Banksy is cut a piece of graffiti out of a wall and hang it up or display it in your house.
You know what? This is why I like this so much because it really does represent my work.
How so?
Because I am a guy wearing a peace sign and cool with the world, but other people are trying to turn it into that.
Well, I don't think that's how it's meant to be interpreted, Rick.
Whatever. My office. Please leave.
Old people will never be hip.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
As long as you're not robbing me, everything's cool.
I'm not robbing you.
These are some cool little blunderbusses. Where did you get these?
Well, my grandma recently passed away, and I was basically cleaning out her garage and found these in a box.
Okay, these are Flintlocks. This flint would fly forward, hit this right here, which would cause sparks, and also make this fly up at the same time, hit your powder in the pan, that would go through the hole, ignite the gunpowder, and everything would come out the end.
Wow.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Okay, but you have heard the term flash in the pan?
I have.
So when this came forward and hit this, sometimes just your powder would ignite and your gun wouldn't go off, and that was a flash in the pan.
Okay. I'm here at the pawn shop today to sell the two guns that I found in my grandma's garage. We were cleaning out the garage. There was a box there. I dug around through it, and there they were. I'm selling the guns today for $6,000.
They're definitely neat. They probably got their own special name for them, but they look like blunderbusses. They were defensive weapons, and they would spread out like this right here because basically they filled them with, it wasn't a bullet. It was everything from pieces of glass to pieces of metal, and the shrapnel would fly out. So it was good for very, like 10 feet away. After that, it was more or less worthless, you know?
Okay.
They look Middle Eastern, Ottoman Empire or something like that. You know, Middle Eastern guns were a lot more show than other countries. You know, I mean, they put a lot more importance in decorating the guns than actually using them. Middle Eastern guns really paid a lot of attention to style and not as much to function. They use the same designs forever, so it's really hard to date them. And a lot of the value is how pretty it is. What do you want to do with them?
I'd like to sell them.
Okay. And do you have any idea what you want for them?
A fair price that I thought would be right around $6,000.
Okay. So your guess is right around as good as mine. Guns from the Middle East, it's very difficult to date them. Even if there was their name, I can't read Farsi or Arabic. So do you mind if I have someone come in and help me out a little bit with them?
I don't.
He just knows more about them than I do.
Okay.
So if you don't mind hanging out a few minutes, I'll get him down here, we'll look at him, and maybe we can do something.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'm really excited they're calling an expert in. I think these guns are really valuable. If I get the full $6,000, I'm gonna take my girlfriend to Jamaica.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Hey, Rick, how are you?
A guy came in with 2 antique Flintlock pistols. I definitely think these guns are Middle Eastern, but I just don't know enough about them. So I'm calling in my friend Sean to take a look at these. So, these weird blunderbussy things. I'm sure they got a name. What's the name for them?
Okay, they're called DAG, D-A-G. DAG Flintlock blunderbusses. I love these. I mean, do you have any idea how old these are?
I don't.
Okay, these were in vogue from about 1750 to about 1820. That's when they were being made, but they were still being used up until about 1900.
Okay.
You know, the flintlocks that they were manufacturing in the region, and this is all the Middle Eastern region, from the Barbary Coast to what is now known as Turkey, were guns that were brought in from Europe, and then they copied them. And then they kind of came up with their own form, and this is indicative of that area. These Middle Eastern weapons, they're usually highly decorated and embellished. And it even goes back to the time of the Crusades. There's been record accounts of the Christians being able to see the Ottoman soldiers approaching because the sun was reflecting off of all the gold and silver decoration of their armor and their weapons. Same thing holds true to these. There's an issue, okay? If you look down this barrel, what do you see wrong?
That it's not welded.
If you were to load black powder in this and actually attempt to fire it, this would peel open and explode in your hand. And the reason for it, see those open fissures in the metal? When this was being formed, they never welded the seam so it wouldn't come apart. This is death waiting to happen. This one was actually made just to be intended to be hung on the wall as a cool thing.
Okay, what are they worth?
The value, you know, $2,000 to $3,000. This one, $1,000 to $1,500.
Okay.
I mean, just because if you hung it on the wall, it's gonna look bitchin'.
Okay, thanks, man.
Absolutely, Rick. Take care, good luck. I think Rick should buy these because they're just so unique. There's nothing else like them out there. And I think he'll probably sell them pretty quick.
I'll give you like $1,200 for them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not enough. He just said that this was worth $2,500 on its own.
Said worth $2,000 to $3,000. Okay, and this one $1,000, $1,500. This one's going to be more difficult to sell because the barrel's screwed up and all that other stuff. I mean, what is your best price?
$3,500.
There's no money in it for me that way. There's none. I got to make a living. I got to resell these.
Will you do 3?
No. I have to retail them. I have to make a profit. I got to pay sales commissions. I have all the expenses, okay?
What's your best offer?
I'll tell you what, I'll go $1,800. I mean, that's what I could do.
Will you do 2?
I'm gonna regret this, but we'll do it. I'll meet you right over there and I'll write you up, okay?
Deal. Well, if I would have gotten the $6,000, we would have been going to Jamaica, but I guess we're going to Cleveland instead.
Wow. Farm equipment on steroids.
Golf cart with big wheels. It's an 06 Yamaha Rhino. It's 4x4, off-road vehicle.
You ever roll it?
No, never rolled it. Came close, but never rolled it. I love this Rhino because it just goes anywhere. Well, this vehicle's brought me hundreds of hours of pleasure, but it's not real fast. It goes about maybe 40 miles an hour. And I'm a speed freak. I need to go faster, so I'm looking to upgrade to something a little bit better. This thing's pretty badass. Custom rims. It's got extended A-arms, Fox shocks, HID headlights. It's even got a mount on it for your MP3 player in case you want to listen to some tunes while you're out on the desert.
Whenever someone brings in an off-road vehicle, I get excited because I love off-road vehicles, and this thing looks awesome. When they first came out with these things, they weren't even made for off-roading. They were made for farm equipment. Next thing you know, they're making trick shocks for them and trick seats and roll cages. People are always tricking out their Rhinos, and this one is no exception. So why do you want to sell it?
Pretty much I'm a speed freak. I love speed, going fast, and it's just not cutting anymore. So I'm trying to trade up to a Razor.
I understand. I got a Razor too. So.
Do you really?
Yeah, I go off-roading almost every weekend. I've been going out in the desert since 1973.
Showing your age, I see.
Yeah. My dad used to put me in the Volkswagen in his lap and drive around when I was 7 years old. When I was a kid, the old man used to take me off-roading almost every weekend. And when Corey got old enough, I did the same thing. It's a blast, and I would love to add this one to our fleet. It's a big question. What do you want for it?
Well, I paid $9,000 for it.
Okay.
So I'm looking probably around $8,000.
Okay. I'll give you $6 grand for it.
Oh, come on, man. It's got a lot of parts in it, like I said, the roll bar, the bumpers. I mean, the bumper was almost $500.
I know it's got all the custom parts on it. That's the problem with these things. No matter how bad they're tricked out, they're not nearly as cool as they were 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years old, it's already dated. But you know, this would make a great vehicle for somebody. I'm sure somebody would love to have this.
But it's still the family wagon, it's not the Corvette.
That is true. But you're asking for a Hyundai price. Razor's about $14,000. So I need at least half to put down. So if you can give me $7,000, we got a deal. One off-roader to another.
All right, I'm probably gonna regret it, but $7 grand.
You got a deal.
All right, let's go do the paperwork.
I wanted $8, I got $7. That's at least half of a Razor, so, you know, I can live with that.
The only reason I went over 6 is because out here, with all the desert, off-roading is huge, and I can sell it quick. But in the meantime, I can't wait to try this thing out after work. So I'm gonna have Corey take it over to my house so it's ready to go.
Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Stop! Broken! Oh, dude. It wasn't my fault.
I knew I shouldn't have let you drive this thing.
I didn't break it.
My dad's gonna flip, dude. My dad's gonna kill me, and using chum as an excuse hasn't worked since I was like 10. I'm responsible for his dumbass, and I should have known better. I swear to God, every time I hang out with chum, it costs me money. Get him away, dude. I won't start at all. I have no idea what's wrong with this thing. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a spark plug, a fuel line. It could be something really simple. All I know right now is this thing's not working.
Maybe we should call Rick.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea, dude. Let's call my dad and tell him we broke.
Maybe he'll bring us something to drink.
Dude. This is a disaster. Not only do I gotta pay to get this Rhino towed back to my truck and trailer, I gotta get it to his house and fix it before he gets home from work. I just hope we get this done in time.
Did it just stop, or sputtered, or did it slow down?
It just stopped.
Just stopped altogether. Man.
The temperature light came on and everything else.
Let me see this. Let me take a look over here.
You gotta be able to get this done, Johnny, please.
Dude, I don't know what you guys did to this thing, man, but it's filthy.
Just tell me you can fix it.
I don't know, man. You guys are a bunch of idiots, man.
Yeah!
You owe me.
Don't mention it to Rick, and I owe you one.
All right.
Johnny's the man. I mean, he really came through in the clutch, but now we gotta finish cleaning this thing up before my dad comes home. I feel like I'm back in high school.
You think we have time to take this out again?
Chum, dude.
Damn. This is an old clothes wringer, or laundry wringer.
I've had people tell me that they think it was for making pizzas, to roll out the dough in this. I went down to look at a barber chair down in Newport Beach. I happened to see that in the living room, and I asked the lady if that was for sale. She said, sure, and I bought it. It's actually been in the garage this whole time because my wife didn't think it was a very good idea to buy it. Well, I'd like to get $1,500 for it. I'll tell him if he's looking for a good buy, I'll give him a good buy, like this.
This is pretty neat. This is most likely to wring our clothes, probably in a hotel or something like that. This just screams the economic boom and the craziness of the 1880s, where there was a new iron foundry popping up every other day. There was patents flying all over the place because people were coming up with all these things that made life easier, and this made people's life easier. The Industrial Revolution led to all sorts of great time-saving inventions. So an item like this is a snapshot of that time period. It's the kind of stuff I absolutely love. You most likely had one person doing this and one person feeding it. I mean, you might have had two people operating, throwing stuff through this at the same time. And it was very common for a kid or a woman using one, just a person using one of these things, for their hand to get caught in a shirt or something like that and get run right through it and crush their hand. There was, I mean, it's a neat thing about the time period. If you look like right here, when they cast this,
right,
they could have made that just a plain X for the reinforcement.
Right.
But they put this. It was just the way they thought back then. You know, if we can add a little beauty to something, even if it's an industrial piece of equipment sitting in a back room, we'll put it back there because that's the way things are done. It's not done like that today, and it's one of the things I like about this old stuff. Big question, what do you want for it?
I'd like to get $1,500 for it.
Okay, $1,500. All right, let's talk a little bit, okay? When people buy things for their house, you know, they put an antique stove in the corner because that might have been in the house.
Right.
The problem with this is it's a neat antique. It's got to fit in. You have a real problem this fitting in anything. If I buy this thing, I'm going to give you $300 for it because it's going to sit forever.
Well, you use it as a desk in your office.
I don't want to use it as a desk in my office. I don't mean to beat you up, but...
How about $500? That's $1,000 less than I was looking for.
I was almost hoping you'd say no and just take it with you. I'll give you $450 for it.
$475, and you got yourself a deal.
Oh. You know what? I have a fear I'm going to regret this, but we got a deal.
Okay, deal.
All right, come on front. I'll write you up.
You put me through the ringer to get me down that low, but I'm okay with it. I'll live. It's better than taking it back and putting up with my wife's complaining about it.
Whoa. This is crazy.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Harvey, you here?
Hey, welcome. Hi.
This is my employee, Rick.
All right. You've come to see my Terminator.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember this. This was in Skynet where they're going to build robot armies, and these were all in the background.
Does this turn into liquid?
No, these are T-800s. T-1000s are liquid metal.
You got any T-1000s?
No.
We haven't come up with the technology yet.
Chumley called me up and said he wants to come down again. He was here once before, and he wanted to bring his boss and look at my Terminator 3 props. These torsos were used in the beginning of the film when Schwarzenegger was walking through the Skynet manufacturing facility, and these are all being made.
All right, super cool. This is from the factory Skynet where they're making the robot soldiers, and it all eventually went bad. Because in 2029, that's when Skynet became aware. And then they just figured, you know, let's kill all the humans.
Whoa.
They're a little dated, not too bad. These look like they will hold up your trunk in your car. That's probably what they used, right?
Yeah, they used all kinds of parts wherever they could dig up parts to make these things, you know?
Yeah. It's got
robot guts.
It's like rubber. It's not real guts.
What do you think robot guts are? They're robots, Rick. They're full of rubber and metal.
All right.
I think it's super cool. For a movie prop to be worth something, it has to sort of stand out in the movie. And these are props that even if you're not a huge fan of the movie, you'll sort of recognize this from Terminator.
Yeah.
So, are you looking to sell them, or?
Yes, they're all for sale.
Well, how much do you want for them?
I'm looking at $5,500 a piece.
All right. Let me give someone a call if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm definitely intrigued. They're definitely different.
Definitely different.
I got a friend that's down here, and I think she'll know about these.
Great.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay.
That wasn't funny?
It would have been funny if someone else said it.
Hey, Harvey, nice to see you.
How's your dad?
He's great. Thank you for asking.
So you guys know each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you know about this, right?
Wow. Yes. I recognize these little guys from about 15 years ago. These were used in set dressing on the film. They were used in the Skynet set. You'll see Colonel Brewster giving a tour down the hallway, and that one and this one are visible. This one I can't quite place because I'm sure it was there on set dressing because we had a massive set, but the camera only sees so much. So this one I can't say for sure is in the footage, but it was definitely on the set.
Okay. So what do you think these would be worth?
Well, because they weren't actually picked up and featured, but they were part of the overall backdrop of the film, I'd say probably $3,500 a piece, $4,000 maybe.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, Rick.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me out.
All right, so this one is the one I'm interested in.
Okay. $5,500 for that one.
Well, you know, according to Hope, she figured it was worth around $4,000. So let me give you $2,500.
Ouch. I can't go that low.
I'm gonna resell it.
You should be able to get $6,000.
It'd
Easy.
It would be tough. 29?
Oh, I just can't go that low. I'll do 38.
$3,000.
Ah,
There's no room after $3,000.
I think there's room.
I'll go with 31, and I'm crazy even going that high.
Okay, it's a deal.
Sweet. All right, I'll get you paid. And
Okay.
this is great.
I told you you wouldn't regret it.